What's going on, team? It's Caddy with Money Vesting. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. So in this video, we're going to be trading live and I will show you guys what I'm looking at and how much I'm up or down on the day or on this trade. If you guys enjoyed these videos, please make sure to give it a thumbs up because it really helps out with the channel and recommends this video to other people who might be interested in watching as well. As always, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos related to the stock market, investing, and technical breakdowns. So right now we're looking at ticker symbol SPXU. It is a leveraged ETF which tracks the S&P 500 in an inverse way. So if the market goes down, this leveraged ETF goes up. And before we get further into the videos, please be really careful and do your own analysis and your own research when it comes down to investing in the stock market. I'm not a financial or investment advisor in any way. All I'm doing is sharing my opinion and my analysis of these stocks and these companies. At the end of the day, I want you guys to please be self-sufficient and do your own research. So since this is leveraged 3 times, that means SPY, which is the S&P 500, you guys can see right here, SPY is down about 30 basis points. And one of the things that I noticed today is on the 1 minute chart, you guys will see this huge spike in volume and this huge surge in SPXU ticker symbol. That essentially meant that SPY was going down and we saw a huge spike in volume as well. So right now I'm trading the inverse of this ticker symbol. So I'm in on UPRO, which is trading in the opposite direction as the SPXU, which is, again, they're both interlinked with each other, but they trade in opposite directions. So we're going to continue to monitor this pattern. I see a resistance at around 1179, 1180, and that's the trend line that I have recognized. That being said, it did push up quite a bit and it's trading between the middle and top VWAP, meaning it is making those higher highs and higher lows, and it is giving us an ascending pattern on the day. So my game plan for this trade is to see if this resistance is breached or if the pattern actually hits this resistance and then pulls back. If it does, we are looking at a good 1.5% to 2% if it drops even further down. So like I said, I am in on UPRO, so let's check out how much I'm up or down on the day right now. Alright guys, so here we are inside my Robinhood. Right now you guys can see that I'm down about $82 with just about 200 shares at an average cost of $45.88. So now let's jump back into the pattern and see where SPXU is trading right now. So right now on the 1 minute chart, you guys can see that it is approaching right around that resistance level, and it has become really overbought and really overextended in my opinion due to the fact that the RSI is approaching the 70 level and the MACD is also showing signs of peaking out and potentially reversing in direction. Now that being said, that doesn't always happen. These technical indicators in all my previous videos, as I've already mentioned, are bound to fail every now and then, and they don't give you a clear direction as to where the pattern is going to go and where they're going to reverse or change in direction. So that being said, we are seeing a spike in volume again, and we'll see if it's able to break out of that resistance. In my opinion, it probably will due to the fact that it has the momentum going for it. It is making higher highs and higher lows, and it is making an ascending pattern, and it was able to break out of this descending triangle that you guys see between these lower highs and this horizontal support that I had already recognized. So now we're going to jump over to the 5 minute chart because that is essentially the chart that I like to trade and follow very closely. And if we pull back further, you guys can see the entire trading history for this chart from a couple days ago. You'll notice that there is a clear resistance at around 1180, which is also the price point that I've recognized for SPXU. And right now you can see that it's almost breaking out of that level. And then the next resistance at around $12 and $12.01 due to the fact that it hit that level on June 16th and then it sold off all the way, dropping down to 5.5%. So from a price action standpoint, you guys can see that the dojis or the green candles are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And right now it is consolidating with about 3.5 minutes left to go for the candles to close. And if this resistance actually gets validated, we will see a pullback and the pattern to change direction and reverse, giving us a decent amount of correction. And that means my UPRO position will be pushing up. Because of the fact that they trade in opposite directions, UPRO will be going up as well. So you guys can see that the RSI now is at around 66.59, MACD again peaking out, and we are seeing a doji for the SPXU with the high is going to be 1180, which is also high for the day, and also the resistance that we recognize up top, and the low is going to be 1170. So there's a 10-cent differential for that doji candle, and right now it's trading at around 1173 to 74, so right in the middle. So there is a lot of indecision in the markets right now, and it's trying to figure out where it wants to go and if it's going to be able to break out of this resistance or if it's going to pull back, break below the EMA, which is the white line, and break below the middle VWAP, which is going to be the yellow line. Quick update on the position. Right now we're down about $90 on this trade. So right now you guys can see that 1180 level, which we've already recognized as being a resistance for the stock based on previous patterns, as it has gotten rejected here multiple times, is validating to some extent. So it is pulling back. The only question is if it's going to break below the EMA or the middle VWAP. Again, that's going to be the white line or the yellow line. And if it does, we can potentially see a change in direction for SPXU, meaning that the market in general, the S&P 500, is going to start pushing up and making higher highs and higher lows. And this, on the other hand, is going to start making lower highs and lower lows, essentially making a descending pattern on the day and trading between the middle and bottom VWAP. So we just need to make sure that we stay calm, collected, and patient in order for the pattern to work out. And if it's not going to work out, then we cut our losses with a very small position size and we're able to contain the damage. And that is one of the most important things. It's not about how much money you make, but it's also about how much you're able to keep and preserve your capital before we even think about growing our money and growing our capital in the stock market. So to give you guys another quick update on the position, down about $75 right now on this trade on ticker symbol UPRO. So let's look at the 1 minute chart really quickly, just to figure out what's going on with the pattern. You guys can see that it got rejected here. It's now starting to pull back a little bit. The RSI did come down and the MACD was also showing signs of reversal. That being said, this old resistance that the stock set back at 9:58 a.m. is now acting as an ongoing support. So we see a lot of consolidation right around this level. So it'll be interesting to see if it actually breaks down of that consolidation area and that support that it's now recognizing, or if it's going to continue to make higher highs and new high of days. So I'm going to keep it on the 1 minute chart right now just for a few minutes, just so we can see where the candles close. And then I'll switch over to my 5 minute chart, which is what I like to trade on a day-to-day basis. So the important thing for us to understand right now is that this thing needs to break below the middle VWAP, which is going to be the yellow line. And if it can do that, then we can see a healthy push down, downward pressure coming from the bears on SPXU, and we can see a further decline in price. But if it's able to sustain its middle VWAP as a good support, which it has done right around this level, it was starting consolidating, pushed up, sold off, and I didn't expect this huge spike in price due to the high volume that we saw right at 10:15 a.m., but it did do that. So there's no guarantee that it's going to continue to sell off right now that it has been doing. But the important thing is for it to break below the yellow line, which is at 1164, and right now the price is 1166. So we do need to see another 3 to 4 cent drop in SPXU, which currently the bid is sitting at 1166 and the ask is at 1167. So the spread is essentially the difference between the bid and the ask price. For ticker symbols like SPXU, you will most often see spreads being 1 cent or maybe 2 cents at the max. For companies and stocks like Amazon, Apple that are trading at $2,500, $200 per share, the spreads are much bigger, like 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents. We're down about $28 right now on this trade, so we have contained the damage to some extent. We were down about $90 earlier, and right now we're down just about $30. So this drop right now was close to a little bit over 1%. This drop right now was also 1.25%, and this drop was close to about 1.15%. So now if you're someone who's watching and you have stayed this far into the video, I'm still red on this trade, and if I'm eventually able to turn a profit, you guys would be really interested to see how I'm able to do that, right? I am too. The pattern needs to work, and if it doesn't, we will again cut our losses and bail out on this position due to the fact that it was my mistake and I didn't anticipate the direction very clearly. And that's one of the things that I need to focus on is take blame, understand what you did wrong, and work on those mistakes so you can come back at this trade with a much better perspective and you're able to think more logically and clearly. Like I was saying, the middle VWAP is acting as a really good support for SPXU right now. It did bounce back up, trading above its moving average, which is the exponential moving average of 9. So looking at it more closely, I wouldn't be surprised if you do see a pop back up to 1180, which is also the high for the day. But again, we saw another doji, so it is consolidating, trying to figure out where it wants to go. And there's a lot of indecision as it is. So I want to quickly explain to you guys that this is, again, trading off of the S&P 500 index, and it trades in the opposite direction, right? So if S&P goes up, this thing goes down. So for us to actually take advantage of the leverage ETF that I'm trading, UPRO, the market actually needs to go up. So this thing will start going down, and in return, UPRO will be pushing up as well. Again, I do want to remind you guys, if you guys enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that like button because it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm and really supports the channel. and recommends this video to other people who might be interested in watching. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos related to the stock market, investing, and technical breakdowns. I really, really do appreciate you guys' support. So right now we're looking at the 5-minute chart again. Again, this 1180 resistance that we have recognized early in the video is validating, and the pattern is pulling back to some extent. Again, all we need to focus on is if it's going to break below the middle VWAP, which is going to be the yellow line, and that's at 1164. Right now I'm down just about $20 or now $15 on this trade. So right now, the middle VWAP seems like it is acting as a support because it is pushing up a little bit. So my alert will go off if the candle closes below the middle VWAP, which again is going to be the yellow line. And that's what we're trying to focus here, is the 1164 level on the 5-minute chart, if that's going to be breached and if the candle actually closes below the middle VWAP. So right now there's 3 minutes and 27 seconds left for this candle to close. You guys can see the countdown right here. And it is consolidating. I mean, it's making a doji, so it's getting a downward pressure from the 9 EMA, and it's getting a good support from the middle VWAP. So from a price action standpoint, there's not much that we're seeing, and the volume is really low too. So you guys can see that this is probably the lowest volume we're seeing. So I just realized something. I understand that this can be a little bit boring to watch because all I'm doing is sitting here and looking at the pattern. But that's really the game here. You don't have to do much. You don't have to make a lot of decisions. You just have to figure out a pattern and let it work out if it does. If it doesn't, then you cut your losses and then move on. For the most part, majority of the work is essentially figuring out where the key support resistance levels are, making those decisions, letting the pattern do the legwork for you, and you essentially just sit back and identify and observe and essentially notice if there's any weakness, if there's any strength in the price action, where those key support resistance levels are going to be, and if the pattern is breaking out of those levels or if it's breaking down from its key support levels. So right now, again, the middle VWAP is acting as a really good support, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does push up to this resistance at around 1169 or even higher back to 1180. So we're going to keep a close eye on this one and continue to watch and observe and see what we can notice. But looking at previous patterns, if we were to scroll back, that is also the 1170 level back on June 16th when it got rejected right on this level at 1:55 p.m. on that day. And then it sold off close to about 2%. So looking at it right now, again, there is a lot of indecision and consolidation in the pattern, and we'll see if it closes below the middle VWAP. Again, that is what we're trying to do here, is to understand if it's going to close below the yellow line, which is sitting at 1164. So the low for this candle, 1163, the low for this candle, also 1163. There was a 10-minute period where 1163 did held up as a good support. So that's a good indication that there is a pent-up demand at that level, and there are quite a lot of buyers sitting at 1163. And if you're able to break down to that level with a huge supply of shares for SPXU, then UPRO again, which trades in the opposite direction, should be pushing up. So the middle VWAP on the 1-minute chart, again, holding that really good support, and it's getting a downward pressure from the 9 EMA, almost as if it's ready for a breakout. Like, it's just setting up to make a big move. I can already tell if it's either going to be on the upside or the downside, because it has done that before. It was making lower highs and lower lows. There we go. My alert just went off for 1163, so we did break below the middle VWAP. And if there's heavy volume, right now the volume is really low. So if there's heavy volume following up with this, then we can see a further drop in price. To give you guys a quick update on the position, so now I'm up just over $6 on this trade. So we did go from red to green, and now let's go back into the TradingView platform to see what the pattern's actually doing. There we go. There is quite a bit of sell-off coming in. 1162 it just hit, more so and down. Now up over $48 on this trade. So I do have a trailing stop loss on this position right now. That essentially means that as the price is moving up, my trailing stop loss is going up with it. So now we see a further sell-off. So again, my trailing stop loss is going up, so I should be getting out of this position anytime soon. Right now, the trailing stop is sitting at 45.91, and it is getting higher and higher as the stock price is moving up. Now up over $72 on this trade, and SPXU is selling off, so it did break below the EMA and the middle VWAP, and it continues to sell off. There it is. There's a bigger drop that I didn't anticipate, by the way. So now we're up almost $100 on this trade. And again, my trailing stop loss is moving up with the price. So as the UPR price is going up, my trailing stop is moving up with it. So this just essentially means that as SPXU is selling off, that means the market in general, which is the S&P 500, if you look at the SPY, is pushing up higher. So right now it's approaching its 200 moving average, which is the blue line. So I wouldn't be surprised if it does pull back now and trades between the middle and bottom VWAP, again giving us a descending pattern on the day. So there you go, guys. My trailing stop loss essentially got triggered at $46.10. So I'm up a little bit over $120 on the day from UPRO on that trade. So I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. And if you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos related to the stock market, investing, and technical breakdowns. The key takeaways from this video and from this live stream is that be patient, stay consistent with your plan, stay consistent with your strategy. Whatever it is that works for you, refine that strategy and become an expert in it. Just study the markets, practice, and put the time and effort into your learning. Seek out to other people. We have a free private Facebook group with a little bit over 200 members that you're more than welcome to join. We'd love to have you as a member. As always, happy investing. I hope you guys have a green day, a green week, and a green month. I will see you guys in the next video.